Today we're going to talk about the question that I get frequently, which is, hey Kyle, should I put my home in a trust? Now, the way this question comes about is we're talking with a client or we're talking with a family about whether or not they should set up a revocable living trust. And then once we've discussed their other assets, we get to the house and they say, okay, we've talked about setting up this revocable living trust. Should I put my home in this trust as well? And we're going to talk about the reason that you may or may not want to do that. And it's actually pretty simple, that the reason someone may or may not want to put their home in a revocable living trust is the same reason that they might put their other assets, their investment accounts, which is more common, into a revocable living trust. And so in prior videos, I've talked about the reasons that people set these trusts up in the first place, which are the 3 P's, if you might remember. The first is probate, the second is privacy, and the third is protection. And as a quick reminder or a quick recap of those 3 points. So if your assets are in a trust, whether it's home, whether it's investments, whatever it might be, when we talk about privacy, which is 1 P, investments or assets that are in a trust, they pass to the beneficiaries privately, rather than going through the probate process, which is number 2. So assets inside of a trust avoid probate. They avoid that costly process and time-consuming process of probate. And number 3 is protection. Now, when we're talking about protection, we're not talking about protection for the person that created the trust. We're talking about protection for the beneficiaries, specifically creditor protection, divorce protection, and protection from potentially overspending, because you can set rules for these trusts as far as distributions. And so, okay, when we're talking about privacy, probate, protection, if you choose to put your home in a trust, you would probably do it for the same reasons. And most of the time this conversation starts because they have had a loved one pass away and they have gone through the probate process and had to deal with the probate process when it comes to selling or managing a home, which can sometimes be a huge hassle from a time standpoint and from money standpoint once lawyers get involved. And so it's really not more complicated with a home than it is the reason that you would set up a trust in the first place. Is how important is privacy, how important is avoiding probate, and lastly, those protections. So the reason that you might have set up a revocable living trust for your investment accounts and your assets is to protect your heirs from creditor protection, from divorce protection. If you have your home outside of a trust or not named as the trust and you pass away and that home gets sold, it's just going to go into your beneficiaries' accounts, which is great. They're going to receive those funds, but they're no longer going to receive the protections that the trust provides. Versus, on the opposite side, if you were to have that titled in the name of the trust, something were to happen to you, that immediately passes to the trust, and then when that gets sold, when that property gets sold, those proceeds go into the trust and follow the same rules and get the same protections. And so, again, whether we're talking about a home or whether we're talking about investments or really any asset that you title in the name of the trust, remember the 3 P's, which is privacy, protection, and probate when it comes to if it's right for you and your family. I hope you found this helpful. And as always, thanks for investing your time with the Personal CFO.